Hi, folks. Welcome back to the Not Another Movie podcast. I'm Kaden,
I'm Alex.
and today we're talking about Christopher Nolan's hit movie, Tenet.
So for those of you who do not know, I'm going to read the IMDb on Tenet. Armed with only the word Tenet and fighting for the survival of the entire world, CIA operative, the protagonist, journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a global mission that unfolds beyond real time.
Real.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. How do you want to start this dialogue?
I want you to take out your list because you have a long list.
Also, I think we should preface that we just watched the movie.
Yeah,
We've seen the
just
movie
watched
before.
it probably 10 minutes ago or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fresh eyes.
Fresh eyes.
Fresh thoughts.
I've seen it multiple
fresh
times.
lists. I've now seen it multiple times.
Yeah. I'm a big Nolan. I don't know what Nolan fans call themselves. Like Nolan Knights. Maybe. I'll
coin the term.
I'll coin that term.
Coin the term.
I'm a big Nolan fan, so I pray at the Church of Christopher Nolan.
Do you want to start with my list, my simple
Sure.
people list, or do you want to
The
start
voice,
with the?
or we can bounce back and forth
Okay.
if you want.
Wait,
Your list is
I'll
kind
go
of
first
small.
then, because it's
All
like
right.
just simple, you know.
Yeah.
So, a big thing I noticed in a lot of Nolan movies, and especially Tenet, is that talking is very quiet. So
Yeah. That was always like when the movie was coming out, because it came out during COVID, but like sound mixing issues were apparently
was it an issue,
global
or did he do that on purpose?
I think it's intentional, and I
Yeah.
think also some theaters just weren't like optimized for that kind of movie.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Because I'd be asking Kaden to turn it up every time there was a dialogue, and then all of a sudden music would kick in, and it's just like, whoa.
it's very score heavy.
Yeah.
Even like bullets sound heavy. Like it's very
bullets
like
are
the
really
sound
loud.
effects are very apparent when you're watching it.
You definitely know what's happening, except when people are talking.
Except when people are talking, which is
Yeah.
I think honestly
It's cool, in my mind, because, well, at least if you're in a controlled environment to watch a movie and you're there to watch the movie, it'll be more enjoyable. But if you're watching casually, it's like, it's hard.
I think with an iPhone or even like a laptop, like
That's how I first watched
like
Tenet.
I'm privileged.
On my phone.
I have a movie theater
So, yeah.
in my basement. But
Yeah.
I think it sounds weird to be like, since we're talking about like audio, like bad audio is on purpose, but I do think it is on purpose.
I think it's
Slightly.
I think he wants you to intently listen on the audio. What people
Well,
are
I think
saying.
even
We're missing critical exposition here.
lock in.
Lock in.
I think you're in the shoes of the protagonist, which is also that's a tangent. Like he's never named, and
Yeah, I
I
thought that I just forgot his name, but it's just the protagonist.
like I always like when you finish the movie, you're like, oh, he calls himself the protagonist 2 or 3 times, or he's referred to as the protagonist.
Yep.
So I think like you just passively agree with it, and then like the scene with him and I forgot the character's name, but Elizabeth Debicki's character, where she like tries to introduce herself, and he's like, Goya.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a very conscious, I think, decision on the character's point to not tell anyone his name. Mm-hmm. Even like in the credits, like on IMDb, it's just the protagonist.
Yeah. And I mean,
You don't really see that a lot.
spoiler warning as well. I guess we'll just throw that out there.
I mean, this movie's been out since
It's been out for a while.
2020.
I just feel like it's polite to throw that out there.
We're entering the 5th year of Tenet.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we'll go on one of your points.
All right, I'll start a thoughtful question. I think Tenet is gonna sound weird. Is probably Christopher Nolan's most spiritual movie.
Really?
Spiritual, yeah.
Why?
I think it's a tie between. I'm trying to think now. I have to back up this claim. Between this and Interstellar, and I don't know if Interstellar is so much spiritual as it is just human, but I think the constant like reaffirming like what reality is and how we're perceiving it through Tenet.
Mhm.
Like, it might just be the crux of like the final moments of the movie, but I think like characters like Neil, who are very forthcoming and believing in like this is just how reality is,
Yeah.
and like they're like it comes up a bit when they're discussing like how things have happened. I feel like I'm not making any sense here. Um,
I'm trying to follow.
I, we're talking about Tenet here.
Yes.
Sometimes. What do you think about what I'm saying right now? I'm having a hard
I'm
time.
trying to follow because
Well,
it's a
I'm
confusing
saying
movie
It is a confusing movie.
and it creates confusing thoughts.
Yeah.
So,
Well, well, the whole point of Stador's character is he doesn't really believe in anything, or he thinks like he's the god
yeah.
of his situation.
The antagonist.
So it's like, it's not so much like faith, I think, the movie, but it's more like human will and what spirituality is, because it doesn't necessarily take a specific stance on which spirituality.
It's true.
Just
Yeah.
that
It just includes
like,
both of them.
it's just like the protagonist is like sheer will and belief that like we can fix things.
Yeah.
We can make it better.
As he was told when he was learning about the reverse
Yeah.
bullet. It's
Yeah.
like it's just will.
Yeah. So
Intuition, he said, I think, right?
So I think Nolan views spirituality more not like a shield, but more like a form of like it's a guidance for the characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Because like that's like it's like their motivation. Like that's Neil. That's like this whole
why Neil,
like what's happened.
Yeah.
It's like faith in the universe.
Well, also faith in the protagonist.
And in the protagonist. So
because the protagonist.
So that's why I think I say spiritual. And like it asks those questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Half-baked thought.
Me?
No, me.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
it was just like a thought
was a
I had.
thought.
It was a thought
It was
I had.
baked.
It was
For a time.
It was like soft baked.
Yeah.
A limp bake. Limp biscuit.
Do you have any more thoughts on that? Or are you on?
I'm gonna
You
not
move.
for the moment. Maybe
next.
I'll come back to it.
Okay,
We can
okay.
circle around. All right.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, now it's your turn. I
So,
embarrassed myself enough.
Talked a little bit about the fits in the Nolan movie. We're talking about how no matter
Let's
what's
talk
going
about
on,
fits.
no matter what's going on, if it's a fighting scene or if they're just eating some food, everyone is just decked out in like the best
Yeah.
fit.
I
And Robert Pattinson, man,
Yeah.
he had the tie, but like it was not done
Yeah.
correctly, and he had the weird looped up scarf and stuff.
Well, like he has a very specific, he has like a color palette in the movie. He's like, he's very, I don't want to say like pastel.
I would say
But
like
it's like loose
I would
greens
say,
and whites. It's very linen. It's very
I would
soft.
say it's very very sandy.
Yeah, I love it. It's very. I like the style. Everyone looks like superb.
Yeah, and the
The
protagonist
superb
dude,
was the word I kept
maroon
thinking.
suit.
The maroon suit.
I gotta get me a maroon suit.
Maroon suit.
Yeah.
Like
10 out of 10
They're
fits,
they're
for sure.
bungee jumping into buildings and they look sick
Yeah.
and they look
Yeah.
fitted.
And they had
that's
collars and
Yeah, like they always everyone in all the movies,
collars and ties.
like Inception, they're all wearing suits the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like the most, like it's like Interstellar is like the one where they're not really fitted because they're in like space suits
Yeah.
or astronaut suits the whole time.
if they're not in SWAT suits or space suits, they're in a suit and tie.
Even like the design choices for like the military-esque suits that they're wearing in the movie. Like I think like the red and the blues
Yeah.
and like the watches. Love the watches.
Yeah,
You could buy
the
that
watches.
watch.
Yeah,
I almost
those
wanted
are
that.
cool.
I wanted that watch when the movie came out.
What you got next?
Okay. I would like to highlight John David Washington, who you did not know is
I did not know.
Denzel Washington's son.
I did not know that.
I did not know.
He was Denzel Washington's son.
I have become a big fan of his over the last little bit. I think I would say he's one of my favorite premiere. Like he's kind of popped up in like 21st century cinema the most, or like 2020 cinema.
Yeah.
Like he was in Black Klansman. He's really good in that movie. So he's become like of like newer talent that's entered the scene. He's one of my faves.
Nice.
Honestly, this movie has like two of my favorite actors.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. We might need a dedicated episode eventually.
Yeah,
because we love that man.
He's just great.
We love that man a lot.
Except when, you know, I just wanted the biggest fan of his when he was doing.
Are you going to be anti-Twilight on this podcast?
I'm a little bit.
I won't stand for that.
Really?
I think they're.
You won't.
I've only seen the first one, and I think it's fun.
I just don't think that they should be able to use Two-Step by Radiohead at the end credits.
Big radio.
That's not the movie we're talking about.
Big Radiohead fans over here too. On the Not Another Movie podcast. I think he's a very physical actor, especially in this movie. Like, I believe he was a football player.
Okay.
So he's like a very physical presence, and like he has to do a lot in this movie too.
When he's getting tortured, he got tortured. I was like, this man's actually going through some bad stuff right now. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on John David Washington.
Nice.
Great actor.
Great actor. Yeah.
His father's.
I think this is the only movie I've seen him in, personally.
He hasn't been in a lot of movies.
He did really good,
I would say. Though. He was in The Piano Lesson last year. He was really good in that. He didn't get nominated.
Gotcha.
I was a little disappointed for that. But anyway, your thought?
Excuse me. Kaden told me to jot down the quote, "Ordered my hot sauce an hour ago," which I need a little bit of explanation on because I didn't get it.
Oh, why to jot it down?
Yeah, why you wanted me to jot it down? It's just like, because I was waiting for the movie to go on. Like, he walks into the kitchen of a restaurant, and then these guys are about to beat him up. He's like, "I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago," and he just beats all of them up.
I think it's one of those, like, it's to me it's like the one-liner of the character for the movie a little bit. Like,
you think that was improv?
I believe it was improv.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure.
Because ordering your hot sauce just
ordered my hot sauce an hour ago. I just think that it's such like an out of left field to say. Out of left field thing to say.
I mean, I definitely laughed quite a bit because it was so random.
Yeah. Like
but I thought it was gonna come back in some way.
Like he was gonna get handed the hot sauce.
Yeah.
And like pour it in some guy's eye.
I bet he was with someone that said that to him in real life at a dinner scenario. Like maybe he was with Nolan there having dinner.
Maybe.
And Nolan was like, "I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago." You know?
Nolan needs his hot sauce.
Yeah.
But I guess if something to say that I just thought of, I think Tenet is the most sort of action-y movie Nolan's made, at least up until now. Like it's working in more of cliche territory, I think. And I have a thought later about that. But it's like, it's all about the big set pieces in the movie. So you have like your car chases, you have like your shootouts, characters saying one-liners.
Yeah.
So I just think for Nolan, it's not unfamiliar territory because I think a lot like The Dark Knight and that trilogy still have those sort of moments.
Yeah.
But that's IP driven, like it's Batman, so you kind of expect that. So Nolan kind of making his own
IP means
intellectual property.
Okay, thank you.
We know these things.
I thought I knew. I wanted to make sure.
So I just think it's like a funny, like Nolan is dipping his toes into pure like genre feature.
Yeah.
But just a further thought on the hot sauce.
The hot sauce
line. What else? Oh, it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Shout out to Travis Scott. I like Travis Scott. We like Travis Scott
too. Yeah.
I like his presence throughout the movie.
My roommate also loves Travis Scott, and his name on my phone is his first name, and then La Flame, and then his last name. Yeah. Just a little tidbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like half a point. I'll expand on everything. So the other.
Are you moving on from?
No, I'll move on from the Travis Scott bit.
Four words. Shout out Travis Scott. Just random. Yeah, that's great.
Have you seen any of the James Bond movies? Have you ever seen a James Bond movie? This is important for what I'm about to say. So this is for you, the viewer.
Sorry.
Um,
My bad.
I think Tenet. Or do you even do you know anything about James Bond movies? Like, you know, they're like spy movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think people are always asking for Christopher Nolan to make a James Bond movie because Nolan's kind of like the big director of our time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's doing it like Nolan, I think is fair to say. But I think Tenet is about as, I don't know if Bondian is a word, but it's about as close to a James Bond movie as I think Nolan will ever make. Because I think when you're getting like his little like, oh, I like playing with reality and time and space and stuff like that.
But also just random cool stuff.
But you haven't seen any of the Daniel Craig Bonds, but those are of like the 2000s to, I think the last one came out in 2021. And a lot of those movies, or I would say the like the last two or three, they borrow a lot from Nolan and like his sort of like, I think Nolan's very cerebral in his stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you look like you didn't like listen to me or something.
No, he's very cerebral.
He's very cerebral.
Yeah.
He makes
I was just thinking about
cerebral blockbusters.
Yeah.
And James Bond movies already borrow a lot of that from him. And I would even say like Denis Villeneuve, shout out. Dune.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Blade Runner yet?
No.
You're not there yet.
Not there yet.
But yeah, I think Tenet's about as close as you'll ever get to a Bond movie because at what point is it really interesting for Nolan as a director to go into a space that people already borrowed a lot from him?
That's true.
Yeah.
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 Speaking facts right now.
I speak
hair flip. Speaking
I
of
speak
facts.
for the people. Gotta call out the hair flip.
Yeah.
All right, wait. I don't want to talk anymore.
Okay.
I feel like I'm talking a lot.
The last thing I jotted down, I was just really immersed in the movie, so I didn't really jot many things down. But I said hashtag aura overload, with the quote, "Told you I'd surprise you."
When they say that. At the very end in the car.
Yeah.
Right before he.
Right before he let go
That's
his.
Yeah. Can we say that on the podcast?
I don't know.
I already said shootout. I think.
It could mean that
mean
in camera terms.
It could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got all the coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought that. Insert actor's name, please.
John David Washington?
Yes, he just really carried that with him.
He has aura the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like
to call it, to be comfortable.
He's a cool man in the whole movie.
To be like, imagine that movie was real, and you are the protagonist, and you're comfortable calling yourself to people who you're about to let go. That you're the protagonist, you know. I just think that takes a lot.
You don't roam around your daily life going, I'm the protagonist of this operation.
Yeah. Like you get made fun of for saying that.
Yeah, you get made fun of.
But he backs it up because he lives in windmills sometimes.
He's that guy.
In the middle of the ocean.
He lives in windmills.
Yeah. I want to know whose idea that was.
Nolan.
Probably Nolan.
He writes all those movies.
How do you like?
I don't know how you think of that.
Let's go to the middle of the ocean.
Windmills.
And put you in a windmill, and then you can do some pull-ups in the windmill.
You have your little mini training montage.
Yeah.
In the windmill.
Yeah. Few training montages, a little bit. He was doing pull-ups throughout the movie a little bit.
Movie.
Yeah.
You see people like preparing for missions. Like you see Neil go to the thing.
We should do more pull-ups, I guess.
Just put more pull-ups. Get more aura.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a causation between pull-ups and aura. Like Brad Pitt eating and box office success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aura farming.
Aura farming. Like Brad Pitt.
Aura farming. The movie has a lot of aura in general, though. If we want to talk about aura.
That's true.
For a Gen Z slang, aura.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite aura moment?
It's this. It told you I'd surprise.
That's like
that hit me hard.
That's the peak of aura in the film.
Yeah, because he told her.
I respect him.
In the first third
Mine's
of the
the
movie.
hot sauce line.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Next topic.
Okay. I'm gonna think about what I want to say here. I really like the line, and it's sort of, I think it sort of expounds the rule of cool
Okay.
that I like to abide by.
Yeah.
That if something's cool and it doesn't make sense, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of things I think I don't want to say don't make sense, because the logic of the film is sort of they're playing with reality, so you kind of do whatever you want.
Mm.
There's a couple like I've listened to scientists, but a couple like scientists like this thing technically doesn't make sense, but you're like 80% there, so it's fine. So I
Okay.
think a lot of the movie relies on in the first 10 or probably 15 minutes after the big opening when the line "Don't try to understand it, just feel it"
Yeah.
occurs,
Mm-hmm.
which is one my adage through life, because a lot of it doesn't make sense. But two is sort of the crux
That's
of
some
the
wise
whole
words,
movie,
yeah.
because I think if you go into Tenet, and I think most other Nolan movies with like the expressed desire to like break it down and like overanalyze and try to like puzzle piece like Rubik's cube the movie.
Yeah, you're not gonna get very far, probably.
You might get you. Well, I think you might get far, but I don't think that's like the intention of like Nolan as a filmmaker to be like.
So you think
let's-
Nolan, with him saying "just feel it" in the movie, Nolan's telling the viewer
I think he's legit telling the viewer
to just feel the movie?
and just his sort of perspective on filmmaking to just be like, don't like just feel the movie
That makes sense.
instead of trying to like make the movie real or
Yeah.
anything. Because I like some people have a hard time turning off their like
Real
their,
brain.
their real brain and go
Yeah.
into cinematic mode. Where like when I watch a movie, um, the everything else ceases to exist, and it's just
Just the movie.
it's just the frames,
Just the
it's the frames and the movements.
rectangle in
the,
front
the,
of your
the,
face.
the little rectangle, and a
The
little bit of
moving
letterbox.
rectangle. Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting line. I've heard him repeat it in interviews. Not necessarily what I'm saying
just
right
feel
now.
it.
Just what I'm saying, like, so someone was like, "My life doesn't make sense, Nolan. Tell me what to do." He's like, "Just feel it, baby." He didn't say that. This is a misquote, but
Baby.
baby, I can't even imagine Nolan saying, "Hey, baby." Can you?
I can. Yeah.
You can. He's
It's just like
he's so like. That's another thing. A rant for another day. I don't think Nolan. People call Nolan a very cold director. In that, like, they're not
as a person
they're-
or
no, like, as a filmmaker, as a person, people everyone says he's nice, but like as a filmmaker, like they say his movies are very cold or very like calculated feeling. When like,
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
disagree with the calculated part.
I don't know. Or calculate might be the wrong word there, but people are like Nolan's movies don't have the most emotion to them, and to that, it's like watch Interstellar.
I would say they have a lot of emotion.
Yeah. Well, I think when you call someone like a cold filmmaker, I feel like I'm saying cold filmmaker, that their movies are just sort of like very almost stilted in a way. Where I think like partway through the movie of Tenet, they literally high five because their job went wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like
Yeah.
they're like fist bumping against the apocalypse
Yeah.
that they're currently fighting against, and I think that's sort of Nolan as a dude and a guy. I don't know how you feel about that.
I would say I agree. I don't know Nolan personally,
I don't either.
but I definitely see emotion in his movies.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes subtle emotion makes the emotion more more intense.
Yeah.
So you see
Expand on that.
he hires only A-list actors
Yeah.
to be in his films. And those actors help him portray subtle emotions that make you have emotions. Like sometimes subtle emotions make me feel deeper emotion more than if
Yeah.
someone were just bursting out crying or something like that.
They say like an actor giving a performance where they're trying not to cry is the one that like affects you more.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
Or when they're like
Yeah.
trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
I think Bryan Cranston. I think I'm calling Bryan Cranston.
Was that?
I think it was him that was
Okay.
like an actor trying not to cry is more emotional because you're like.
So I'm on to
it's
something
like it's like you're feeling the water, like the waterfall.
Yeah.
Or
So I'm on.
You're
I'm
feeling
on-
like the dam about to collapse.
Yeah. Okay.
And that makes
So
you.
I'm not crazy for.
No,
for
I don't
feeling
think you are.
that.
I like.
Okay.
Like I think if you want to talk about Nolan specifically, like Oppenheimer as a film.
Yeah.
My favorite movie. Uh,
Don't stray too far though.
I'll straight to like Cillian Murphy gives a very
Oh,
strong performance, and I would say it's still very emotional, but like you read into what he's going through, and I don't think Tenet is as emotional as some of Nolan's other movies because I think it's more like let's do cool action stuff.
yeah.
But
But I will say to
there's still
that
moments.
point, Robert Pattinson, even if he's in an eighth of a smile,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it just makes you smile. You know,
that part.
He's got
Oh,
such
that's
like
a
a
good
devious little
Yeah, I love him.
like little grin
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I even think spoilers. The last like 10 minutes where it's like, oh, Neil's known him the whole movie. Like that was a moment that has been like replaying in my mind ever since I've seen
That's the
I
best
saw
part of the movie.
Like
It's the best part,
that
in
interaction,
my opinion.
combined with the what's happened or what's happened is
Yeah.
just like a quote that it gets weird, but it's like it's always been replaying in my mind ever
Just
since
take
I saw
it
the
throughout
movie.
your daily
I
life.
take it throughout my daily life. Like it was
Yeah.
like in my bio for
Just
a really
live
long
that
time.
way.
Where it was
Was
just
it?
like, yeah, it was just like
Nice.
you can't necessarily control everything, so you kind of just let things happen. Or
Yeah.
like you can't change
My
you
parents
can't
told me.
change the past,
Yeah.
even though in this movie you kind of can. But you can't ultimately you can't change what's happened.
Yeah.
You can just change what will happen in the future.
It's almost like
Or if
it's almost like the whole movie could have happened without the time travel thing because what happened and it can't be undone. Or maybe it can, but since it happened in the way that they won, why would they risk trying to go back and doing it again because it worked?
Well, it is in a weird way. It's a linear time travel movie
Yeah.
because you're always in the protagonist's shoes.
Yeah.
They cut to Neil sometimes, like especially in like the last act, but like there's no Back to the Future logic where you're going back and then going forward, and things are like happening around you. Like you see them go through the turnstile or whatever they call it, like the thing that puts you in reverse time.
Yeah.
Like they're happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
One's not happening without the other.
It's like what's in Infinity War or Endgame?
Or Endgame.
What's the oval thing called? Do you remember?
Like the thing that they go into when they teleport.
Yeah. No. But the shape of the
Oh,
thing. You know
like
when Tony
the- like
he was
the
in his
infinity
basement
looking
and he was like
thing?
do it in someone's
Yeah.
matrix or something.
I don't remember what it's called.
It was like a weird shaped
He
circle.
like projects it and sees like
Yeah.
it's all like
that thing.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is because it's all on one timeline, but different things are happening. The same people are in the same timeline.
Yeah. And
there's like 2 or 3 sets of the same people.
like that's sort of why I'm for the movie itself. To come back to a point I made earlier, like the just feel it basically, because there's some people, and I know them, that like personally cannot get into the movie because it like breaks their viewpoint of reality.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but like
Hurts the brain too much.
As a viewer, you just gotta go with it, man. It's I think
Ride the wave.
You gotta ride the wave. Like I think like at the end of the screenplay, you just just gotta go with it, man, in a very like Matthew McConaughey voice.
All right. He probably hates that now.
I think he loves it.
You think?
I think you gotta love it because
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
we can.
I just feel like so many people do that impression of him to him.
Yeah.
Like they see, oh, Matthew McConaughey.
I mean, I don't think you can blame him for being maybe a little bit annoyed at it.
I'm
at
not saying
some
I
point
blame him.
in
I'm
his
saying
life.
it must be annoying at this point.
But I
When
think
people do that, they go up to him and they're like, all right.
I think I heard him talk about it. And he's very grateful for something like that, where like that was his first movie. That like broke him, put him into
crazy.
put him into the space.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to be a little. I mean, he referenced it when he got the Oscar too.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the Oscar.
Yeah.
Can't really be upset about that. All right, I'll do it before I go into another crazy Kaden point. I really love the soundtrack. Shout out Travis Scott
He
again.
does, yeah. Trav, thanks, Trav.
I love Ludwig a lot. He got the Oscar last year. That made me very happy.
Yeah, he's good.
I look forward to his continued projects with Christopher Nolan. He's doing the Odyssey, which you don't know much about. Maybe we'll
I
talk
don't know
about
much
that.
about, but I'm excited for it.
Tom Holland.
Oh.
Pattinson is it?
Oh.
Yeah. Matt Damon. Zendaya.
Oh.
John Bernthal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. A lot of people are gonna be in that
John
movie.
Bernthal.
But yeah, I love the soundtrack very dearly. I think Neil's theme was like one of my most streamed songs that year on Apple Music. Like on my Apple Replay, it was like in the top 10, I think. Viewers will understand if you're like me. You listen to movie soundtracks just as you do normal albums.
#1 Robert Pattinson fan right here.
Oh, that too.
Right here.
He's a top 10 actor.
Yeah.
He might be in your top 10 too. You can't judge me.
I'm not judging you. I was just making a statement.
I love Neil in the movie too.
Yeah.
He's probably top 5 Nolan character in general.
Yeah. He's really good.
I love, he has aura too.
He does. He has like more of a subtle aura.
He has like a swag.
Whereas the protagonist has like
The protagonist is like
in your face aura.
He's a very, again, I think he's.
I've never said aura so much in my life, I don't think.
I think the protagonist is sort of a Bond aura guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like overtly Bond, James Bond, but he's still like an espionage. I don't call him like a spy, but like he's an agent of a government that we don't really know about.
Yeah, or he doesn't really know about it.
He doesn't really know about you. Again.
But he could have been the one who made it.
Yeah. He was, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Tenet too.
He's the boss.
The boss.
He's the boss. He's the protagonist.
The boss.
Deep stuff.
Hashtag cowboy shit. Kept coming up. I put that down.
Yeah, why would you say that?
Because the Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, shout out him too.
Yeah.
He says it like twice before he goes, after they get inverted, and he goes outside.
Oh,
he keeps going, "This is cowboy shit."
Yeah.
I love that line. Like again, I think that's another like little catchphrase for a person.
Yeah. What else you got? What else
I put the rule of cool in here too.
The rule of cool.
The rule of cool.
You have so many.
I have a lot of thoughts. This is how I think about movies.
My goodness. We're in Kaden's brain.
You're in my brain.
We're in his brain.
It's a scary place to be.
I'm afraid.
I think, so now that you've seen Oppenheimer, which you did not see till this month. Did you watch it in January? Did you watch it in January?
Yeah.
Yeah.
December,
great film.
January.
But I think Tenet works really well as a companion piece to Oppenheimer in a weird way.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, yeah, because they were talking about fishing, and they literally mentioned Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Before the movie came out.
Which I remember when, I feel like I was the only one that like caught it. Not the Oppenheimer reference, but when he announced Oppenheimer, I was like, he talked about him in the last movie he just made. Because like a lot of people hadn't seen Tenet yet, I don't think. I think they're both working under a similar fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that Nolan's like, I'm going to make this movie and then this movie. I think
it's a weird Nolan universe.
It's a weird Nolan universe. They're all maybe weirdly connected.
Yeah.
But like Tenet, I have in my notes, Tenet is working within the world that Oppenheimer basically creates. Because Oppenheimer created the fear of an atomic weapon.
Yeah. So thinking about Oppenheimer after it came out, thinking about Tenet, I remember Oppenheimer talking about how like we could either make a controlled explosion or just explode the entire universe.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about this, I'm like, did they eventually explode the entire universe and now there's like weird time travel that goes in reverse and forward at the same time?
Yeah. Well, like the ending of Oppenheimer, when you're basically seeing like, oh, these are going to be the ripple effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that fear translates obviously into the movie about Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And the movie Tenet.
Yeah.
Which is basically dealing with what would happen if that affected the entire like time stream, basically, because that's like Sador's.
Because it could have happened. They didn't know.
They didn't know.
Could have just exploded all of the atoms at the same time.
What does Neil say at the end? Where like we prevent the things that people didn't know happened. or could have happened.
Yeah,
We stopped the things that.
we stopped the things that could have happened before they happened or something like that. Yeah.
I remember you like made an audible like ooh.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he
yeah, I
said
did.
that.
I was like, whoa.
But like, like again, it's like he says that and then they high five.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I love it. It's basically like a buddy cop, not buddy cop, but like buddy movie. Like a bros being bros.
A very meticulous
yeah,
bro movie. Yeah, for sure.
very very big bro movie.
Because at the end, you realize it's a bro movie. It wasn't a bro movie until at the end they literally told you it was a bro movie.
I think too.
Like this is the start of a long friendship for you and the end of a very great one for me. Yeah.
It's me. This is the end of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
I love Neil.
Love Neil.
Hashtag
R.I.P. Neil.
Hashtag love Neil.
R.I.P.
What else? I guess the only other thought that I have is that I think you've seen Dunkirk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
been a while.
I think Dunkirk and Tenet and Oppenheimer now.
It's turned into a Nolan episode.
I love Nolan.
Yeah.
They work as like a. Might be done. They work as like a little.
You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing.
There's no friends at dusk. We live in
Twilight.
we live in a Twilight world.
Yeah.
And there's no friends at dusk. Tenet. I think they work as a quasi trilogy of movies.
Yeah.
I kind of made the point, but like, what was that?
Revisiting the point with another.
I'm gonna
movie.
further it more.
Yeah. Back it again.
Tenet and Oppenheimer are connected, and I think Dunkirk in a weird way. I had this thought in the third act. You don't really see who they're fighting too much in Tenet.
Yeah, in
and
Tenet, yeah.
It was a specific choice in Dunkirk, I think. You don't really see who they're fighting either. Because one, they're leaving, but even like in the dogfights scenes, I think you get a glimpse of the other plane.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They're fighting like, I think they're existential movies in a weird way, where they're exploring the unknown as well as like the enemy.
Like action thriller movies. Yeah.
And I think
cool stuff.
Like I wrote cerebral blockbusters with an emphasis on warfare and the unknown.
Wow.
Which Oppenheimer doesn't really have any warfare, but obviously it's
about stopping that warfare.
It's circling that notion.
It's scientific warfare.
It's going on in his brain.
Yeah.
That's the last thoughts I think I have for Tenet. And Nolan.
There's a few bubbles not checked off.
This one's niche. If you know, you know. Tenet is probably the most Metal Gear Solid movie ever made. You ever played it?
It's the most what?
Metal Gear Solid. You know, Snake. From Super
Y-
Smash Bros.
Yeah.
The video game season. The movie's very Kojima. These are all things that someone will understand one day.
Someone will understand.
Someone out there will understand, and they'll comment and be like, "I."
We gotta name this segment like Kaden's random facts.
Kaden's random thoughts that no one else will understand besides a handful of people that also engage in the same things I do.
Yeah.
Bink.
But the general people will not understand because I don't. I speak for the... No, I don't.
I guess, random thought, I think because Nolan's Nolan and sort of his reputation, there's obviously not a lot of special effects, or he claims there's not a lot of special effects in the movie. I remember the quote as it was coming out that there were less, I believe it was like there's less special effects frames in Tenet than there are in the average rom-com, was what he said, or someone said about Tenet. I want to know what you think about that.
There are definitely more ginormous plane crashes, for sure.
They crashed the plane.
Do
you know why they crashed the plane?
Very big plane.
Because it was cheaper to do it that way.
Instead of making
like CGI plane, it was legit. They did
really.
They like in pre-production they were like
that was a really big plane.
Yeah, they were like it would just be cheaper to do. Like VFX is really.
It would be cheaper to destroy all those cars.
Yeah,
it was a nice Mini Cooper. Yeah. Little yellow Mini Cooper did not.
Bradley Cooper. He didn't even know he was making a Bradley Cooper reference.
I wasn't trying.
We checked it off when the prerequisites.
I was just gonna say like it didn't want that. You know, it just got destroyed by the wheels of a ginormous plane. But I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
That there's not that many effects.
Well, I feel
like that's kind of hard to not do effects with like a superhero movie, though. You know?
Well, yeah. I can't fly. You can fly. We can't fly. Humans can't fly, as far as we know.
Yeah.
If you're out there,
One day.
one day. Henry Cavill just like, actually, guys.
Actually, I wasn't on a rope.
I was not on a green screen.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder just hooked.
Just
He camera mounted.
like,
Yeah.
just seeing Henry Cavill fly around. Yeah.
But I think Nolan views. I'm really assuming what Nolan thinks in this episode.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
But
Speaking for Nolan.
I've watched I've listened to him talk, and I think he sees special effects as very textural, because you get like the cool shots of like the like a bullet will hit a wall, and like you'll see it like coming back.
Yeah.
You'll see like the dust and stuff.
It's
like
cool.
It's
It's
very like
yeah.
textural.
The first bullet that
Yeah.
was reversed in the movie
Yeah. Like
has
when-
so much detail.
Yeah, I love like
of it like reversing out of the corner of that aisle thing.
Well, that's like legit like one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. Just like you see like the little grain
It starts spinning a little bit.
Yeah,
And
like
then
it's such a cool, very very cool trick. And then you learn that people had to learn how to run backwards for the movie.
Yeah.
Like apparently it was like they were very insistent on not just reversing footage to give like they're
Well, there's some
moving
shots
backwards.
where they're doing it at the same time. So
you can't
yeah.
fake that unless you're doing crazy.
I bet the people who were told to run regularly were like, oh,
thank God.
jeez.
They were like, oh yeah, blue. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
But then in the next scene, it's reversing the other way, so they're like, oh, I didn't get out of
Well,
it.
like you look at the car chases, and there's obviously cars going both ways.
Mhm.
Or like one will be going, the ones where they're going like forward, and other ones are going forward. It's fine, but like there's scenes where like the car's moving backwards around other cars.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. Had technical difficulties, but we back.
Stunt guy, thumbs up.
Stunt guy, thumbs up. Gotta talk about Fall Guy.
I hate that stunt guy shit.
Maybe we should do like an action movie, like highlight.
I could do an entire episode on Fall Guy.
Yeah, we could.
I could.
You could. Maybe if I'm like absent one day, you can just talk about the Fall Guy and Ryan,
Well,
and Ryan Gosling.
I think we need the banter, though.
You gotta have a dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to listen. I don't know if anyone wants to listen to us talk. They definitely don't want to listen to me talk
I don't
about
think they
Fall
want to listen to
Guy
me talk.
for 40 minutes.
Have you heard the tangents I went on today?
I was there. I was present.
You were there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard them.
I was right here.
They're kind of crazy.
I heard him.
Yeah.
I was trying to follow. I admitted I'm like trying to follow.
Yeah.
You know?
I
The IQ difference
Yeah.
probably is a bit much.
not everything I say makes sense.
Not everything I hear makes sense.
Yeah. But it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's what makes you a creative force.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys thought about
Yeah.
Tenet down in the comments section.
Or don't.
Or don't. You don't have to.
I mean,
If you don't got anything nice,
don't say it at all.
don't say it at
We
all.
want a positive community here.
You can say anything
Yeah.
not nice you want. I don't really care.
Is that good for the algorithm?
Comments are.
Comments are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So comment up.
Comment
guess.
up, actually. We want to know what you have to say about how dumb I am. Yeah. I'm tired.
Thanks for joining us on
Thank you.
episode 1.
Official episode 1.
Uh,
We're ending an episode of a podcast for the first time
Tenet.
ever. Tenet.
Thank you for watching Not Another Movie Podcast.
Not another movie podcast.
And please
Tell the
please
camera.
like, please subscribe, and definitely comment.
let the people know what you got going on.
This camera, just that camera.
Just this camera, actually. Maybe one day.
I'll go back to school in a few days, so so I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Sorry,
but yeah,
Yeah, sure, man.
we'll be back.
We'll
though.
be back though.
All right.
Bye. Who would we want to ban from Marvel Rivals right now?
What?
Who do we want to ban? Ban Let Us Know. Wait, I play her.
You play
Ban-
cool enough. Ban Penny Parker.
How about we ban just Hulk? You can play Bruce.
yeah, leave Bruce. Ban Hulk. Dude, ban Penny. She's the biggest nuisance.
What do you guys Penny? I don't play around.
She dissed me every
She
time.
dissed you, but you've been playing.
She dissed my playstyle. That's why I had to adapt.
Yeah.
We adapt.
We adapt. If you only insta-lock,
If you want to play Marvel
if you
Rivals,
insta-lock
join our
DPS every
Discord.
time.
I feel like I should stop pointing at the camera. I feel
No,
like
keep
that's
pointing at the camera.
You.
Like Uncle Sam. If you insta-lock DPS and you go 0-6, please swap. I would like to sometimes play a DPS character. I'm always stuck playing healer.
We're letting the world know that we're nerds and we play video games.
Yeah, we do play video games very often.
We know life.
We know
Marvel
life.
Rivals.
We're in Diamond though.
We're in Diamond.
We're almost in Diamond 2.
Ninja?
No,
You suck.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
coming for
almost,
your
we're almost
spot.
in Diamond 2. Like we've
Watching anime,
we've
playing video
the audio's
games.
long since faded away.
I counter it by going to the gym and going to class.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm anemic. I'm anemic, as you can tell. Stand up.
that was so random.
Yeah, well, you were talking about you working out. Like I'm obviously down.
I'm anemic.
I'm anemic. Iron deficiency gang, stand up.
I'm here. I have an iron deficiency.
Iron deficiency.
Dude,
gang.
I stand up.
Midwest rise up.
I stand up at the gym after doing like bench press, and I get dizzy, and it's really bad.
Iron deficiency
Eat more
gang
red meat.
stands up to fall back down.
Unless you don't, that's fine.
What?
I said eat more red meat. Unless you don't, it's fine.
Unless
You
you're
know, it has more
vegetarian.
iron in it.
That's cool.
You know, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We
You can
respect,
supplement iron.
yeah. We respect all walks of life on,
Yeah.
on the Not on the Movie podcast.
Respect.
Respect.
How do we end this?
For the Tenet.
Shipwrecked. Best movie of all time.
That's it. Bye-bye.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys.
It's only us.